been thinking of doing this video for a while now, for a few months to be exact, and the last few years I had some weird interactions with women. What was happening is when I walked and in front of me there was a woman, in many occasions they were looking back, they were scared, and I was, in all these situations, I was pretty far away from them, because I know when I am behind a woman I try to keep a distance. And this is because I want to make them feel safe, especially when it's night. These occasions started make me think about what is going on, especially the last couple of years, 2-3 years to be exact. Those situations grew up. I started thinking what is going on. And the only way that I wanted to approach this thing is by reading and educate myself with these kind of things. And I started with YouTube and I found these videos.
Today. Wow. That's not good.
Smile.
What's up, beautiful? Have a good day. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Somebody's acknowledging you. They're beautiful. She said thank you.
Happens when she heads to work. She has to deal with guys like this.
Two wild and crazy guys. Nah, I'm just kidding. How you doing? Good? Nice dress. You look beautiful. There she is. Where have you been all my life?
If you had a daughter, how would you like it if somebody catcalled out to her on the street?
If I saw them say something out of line, then sure, I'd react with a reaction that a father would. But if
you got a woman walking around looking to get talked to, get somebody to say something. Look what you did. Look what you did.
Let me ask you a question. If that was your daughter, how would you feel about men yelling at her?
My daughter wouldn't walk around willing to get yelled at. My daughter walk around conservatively dressed.
Have you ever met a guy and gone out with a guy that catcalled out to you on the street?
100% no way.
The first thing I noticed was that there was a thing that it was called catcall. And I knew that, but I didn't know how deep it goes. I managed to find many variations of catcalling with different perspective to the same thing. The first one is the sloppy catcall, the entitled catcall. The entitled catcall is because the man knows you and tries to catcall you, maybe from work, maybe from school or whatever. The other one was the racist catcall, basically on your skin or your hair color, or even if you say something good, for example, that a woman looks good, beautiful, does not make it better. The Shakespearean catcall, this is the same as number 4, PhD. The out of reach catcall, you are basically out of earshot, so the man thinks that you can't hear him. The persistent catcall, when the same person catcalls you over and over again. The claustrophobic catcall, when you're in an elevator, for example, and someone catcalls you, which is an environment that you cannot go, and there is no escape. And many other examples of what a catcall is. But there are examples of women that call something that is a catcall which is not. For example, if a man comes and tries to talk to you and says something like beautiful hair, hello, or makes a good comment on you, doesn't mean that this is a catcall. It's very difficult for a man to approach a woman, especially nowadays. And be respectful for men that knows how to approach you. Compliments are something that we all like. So if he compliments you about some feature of your face or your smile, your eyes, something like that, I believe it's okay. We don't need to make difficult for men even that. It's very different for a man to say, "Oh, I like your hair," from, "Oh, whoa, I like your hair, let me pull them." That, the second one, we know that it is not okay. But for me, it wasn't enough, because catcalls exist for many decades. And I continued my search on YouTube to see if there is any videos about catcalling. And then I found Vlad. In my opinion, his videos are real. And may I say that Vlad has done a pretty good work with what kind of content he creates over the years. And I will say the weirdest thing ever. I love when I hear Vlad say "ooh."
No, it's not a little.
And then another question raised in my head. What is the percent of women that feel safe walk around in the West? And let me tell you that was really difficult to find resources with good quality of info, especially in Europe. How is it possible that Eurostat has zero stats about this kind of info? It has so many things, but not something like that. I am very disappointed with Eurostat about this. But I found this site, and virtually, I know it's not a paper and the numbers can be faulty. And of course, I kept looking. I found different sites, just like Gallup, with 37% do not feel safe walking at night in their home back in 2014. Gallup had info from 1966, and that's only in the USA. I would love a more detailed map that would show the areas with higher percentage over the years, because I believe that in major cities maybe the numbers are higher, and in small cities maybe the numbers are lower, or the exact opposite. I'm just saying. And so my research continued in Gallup with more numbers, and this was back in 2012. But this time the numbers were for all over the globe, and you can try to locate your country and tell me if you agree. The info were known, but also old. I found End Violence Against Women, and it was from 2021 in UK. 1 in 2 women felt unsafe walking alone after dark in a quiet street near their home, compared to 1 in 7 men. 1 in 2 women felt unsafe walking alone after dark in a busy public place, compared to 1 in 5 men. 4 out of 5 women felt unsafe walking alone after dark in a park, or 16 to 34 experienced one form of harassment in the previous 12 months, with 44% of women aged 16 to 34 having experienced catcalls, whistles, unwanted sexual comments or jokes, and 29% having felt like they were being followed. And this is what I discovered on my own. Basically, I know women from the age of 20 up to 70 years old. The older the woman is, the less catcalls or something unwanted happens to them. The lower the age you go, the percent of catcalls and whistles are higher. In the UK Gov, the data from 2018 to 2021 are higher. 1 in 5 women never go out by themselves at night. That's twice the number of men who say the same. Across the board, are less likely to go solo. 41% of women say they take steps on a regular basis to protect themselves. Sexual assault up to from and is up from 32% in 2018. Violence against women, it's an emergency in UK. And for last, I wanted to keep one site is our world data, and it keeps a map for the share that feel safe walking alone around the area they live at night. It started at 2009, ended in 2022. It also has a table and a chart if you want to check everything by country and anything else you want to check out. This one was one of the most detailed things I could found in the internet about how safe women feel walking around at night. Some posts say that 81% of women say they don't feel safe walking in dark, and this was an article that was published in 2024. And I continue searching for articles about these things, and I fell on one very big paper that was from Robbie Chaney, public health professor, and he created a study with the experience walking home. With 600 individuals took part in the study published recently in the journal Violence and Gender, with 56% of participants being female and 44 being male. That is amazing how different our brains between male and female are. If you notice the way people look at the street. And I tried to see the world at night like a woman. And it is exhausting, to say the least. But this thing is a built-in skill, from female to male. And it shocks me that the way we see the world is so different, and especially when we are the same species and only one thing changes, the chromosomes. Be better.